Welcome to Step Up Your Studio, the essential podcast for dance studio owners and teachers who are ready to grow their business, inspire their dancers, and create thriving studios. Join your hosts, Stephen Sirico and Angela DeVolta Sirico, for actionable insights, step-by-step blueprints, and expert advice designed to help you succeed.
Welcome to Step Up Your Studio, the podcast that will provide you with a blueprint for your continued success. And today's guest in the hot seat is Hedy Perna. Hedy is the owner of the Perna Dance Center located in Haslet, New Jersey, and she's had her studio for 37 years. Amazing. She's an angel. Has worked as a teacher, choreographer, and studio director. And welcome, Hedy. So nice to see you.
Thanks, Angie, for having me. Thank you, Steve. I'm so happy to be here. Congratulations on this new venture.
Well, we're always looking for something not to get bored, but we love talking with all the people and it's so nice to really, get to know people even more in depth. And it's so good for our viewers because everybody needs to hear everybody's story. And you have a wonderful story. What made you become a dance studio owner?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question because I have to keep reminding myself that, especially when times are tough at the studio. When I was a younger, I was very raised in the old school way of vaudeville, Rockettes, Broadway, things like that. Everyone had such an influence on me. And I would sneak down. I don't remember if there used to be this thing called $1 Million Movie. It would be the same movie on all week long.
Right.
There was a Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly movie on. I would beg my mom. I would go to bed and then I would wake up and quietly go into the living room and literally be on top of the TV set to watch the old shows. I just loved that era, that beautiful era of, dance was a communication skill. Everybody was happy when they're dancing. There
Yes.
was situations. So that's how it started. And then my favorite movie of that era was Holiday Inn. When I said that this is what I want to do for a living, eventually, own a studio, I molded my studio after Holiday Inn, meaning that I wanted a production dance team for every holiday. So life is a musical for me. That's just
Well,
what it is.
listen, it could be a lot worse. We all should be so lucky as to have a musical in our lives. I mean, that's why we're so lucky as dancers and teachers. How lucky are we really to be in the business we are? It has its ups and downs like anything, but it's every day I say to myself, thank you, because I've had an amazing life. You've had an amazing life. And, one of the great things that you did during COVID when we were all doing those awful Zoom classes, that was driving everybody nuts. In the end, I think I was getting the kids just to give me motivational sayings because I ran out of things to do in the kitchen and the bathroom and everywhere else. But at that time, you started a wonderful Zoom meeting called Dance Friends. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you. And it's still going unbelievably.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe COVID was 5 years ago now. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So when we shut down in March, we were closing for 2 weeks. We were
Yep.
told the world's closing for 2 weeks. So I reached out to 5 of my friends that are studio owners around the country. I didn't even know how to do Zoom. I mean, I'm so not logical, but get out a way, get all 5 friends together and just to have a glass of wine with them on a night and see what are we going to do for 2 weeks. We've never shut down for 2 weeks. We've never even had a vacation for 2 weeks. So here we are.
Right.
What are my 5 friends around the country going to do for 2 weeks? And then 5 friends started 10 and 10 started to 20, so forth and so on. And now our list is over 100. We still continue to go on. There's a good core of about 15 to 20 that come on every week. People go in and out of their Zooming depending on what's in their lives, but we have everything recorded and it's a no judgment zone. It's studio owners. We have open topics. We have guests. We have discussion topics. It's just, like I said, no judgment zone because we're all studio owners. Everybody runs their business their own way. But I'm going to tell you, Angie, every week I learn something. Last night I said, oh, that's a great idea. I have to think about why I'm not doing that in my studio. And so like really thought-provoking
Right.
ideas, entrepreneurs that are still seasoned studio owners that are still reinventing and innovating. It's so cool. It's really so
Well,
cool.
yeah, and I mean, let's face it, we never really stop learning. I mean, that's the pleasure of it. That there's always something new or a different way of looking at it, or you know, we learn so much too. At the conference, whenever I'm not teaching, I like to go around and listen to what everybody else is doing because it gives you so many great ideas and just different perspective on things.
I
Which is
know.
what.
It's always about change and not being afraid of change. And sometimes I think maybe because I'm a studio owner of 30 something years or whatever, and things are good, but I have to always be open to change. And here's my thing. I'm always down on something when I'm not up on something, meaning this, like when my daughter came in, my daughter Liza,
Yeah,
COVID changed a lot of things. And one of which was that she is now at the studio because she was working for marketing for Broadway shows. Broadway closed down crazy. I said, come to
yeah.
the studio. She made me get rid of my abacus, my Rolodex, my index cards. It's, it
You
was
got
all
everything computerized now.
yeah, everything is this and forms that and da da da. But and I kept thinking, like, why do we need this? Everything's okay. We're doing great. We have a great, successful business. But I wasn't up on the technology. Now that I understand it, I can't
Right.
even not doing it. So I have
Well,
to
yeah.
be open to trying or being aware of new things and get up on it as much as you can. And I'm not
No.
saying expert, believe me, I don't want to be an expert. That's not my thing. I'm finding the right people to do it, which is another thing that delegation is tough when when you're successful and you have a way to go and you think that nobody could do it like you can. They
Yes,
can.
yes,
They
they
can.
can, and they do it differently, but it's not necessarily bad different. It can be good different.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we met many years ago at the Dance Teacher Summer Conference. Do you remember in New York?
I'm
And
sure.
we were on a panel together. I forget what the panel was for, but I think it was just people asking questions about studios. And all those years later, and now you teach regularly for us on Dance Teacher Web Conference, and Hedy's classes are the best because she's so down to earth. She's so practical that everybody can relate. And I think that's one of the great things about your classes is you're very relatable and you have actual practical ideas instead of, sometimes people get worried they're not going to be able to put into practice what they're given in classes, but you have lovely ways of doing it. And you're going to join Steve and I with the new studio owner seminar. We did this last year and we got all these new studio owners, of which there are quite a few, because since COVID, a lot of the older studio owners sold or gave to their students or to other people, and so we have a lot of those new studio owners, and obviously they need guidance. We all need guidance, but but they need extra guidance because we have some things we've been doing year in year out that are automatic for us. We forget that they're not automatic when you're first going.
Right. Well, first, thank you for letting me be a small part of your Dance Teacher Web. I'm going to say that
Okay.
my first conference at the Ritz-Carlton, and I remember going, and I went by myself because, sometimes you just got to go by yourself as
Yes.
a or as a teacher or a studio owner, whatever head you're in. And I remember saying, these people really know what it's like to be a studio owner. You treated the studio owners with such respect and understanding because we're a different breed. And I
Oh,
was so
absolutely.
impressed with your faculty because they really did give practical information. And that's what I try to do because I'm still in the trenches. Look, I'm going to work today. I'm still in this. I have the same. What they say, same problems, different address. I have the same issues too. Recitals in 2 weeks, parents not reading their notices, all
Yeah.
of things that people think are so unique. And then we go to these conferences and they listen to us and they think that we're this and that. Well, we're not. We're really in the trenches. And all
Well,
I
yeah.
my story, what worked for me, what maybe can work for you, but I'm not the end all be all. I'm just the practical, hey, I tried this. Hey, this didn't work, whatever. So I appreciate the faculty you pull together because they are a really practical, bring back to your studio faculty ideas. And as far as the new studio stuff that you're doing at the Dance Teacher Web, sometimes people come to these conferences and they are by themselves. They know
Yes.
what to expect. They are coming from a different part of the country. Even if they come with somebody, they're a newer. When I say newer, I mean like under 5 years. To me, they're still virginal. They haven't been. They need a separate hands. They need to
Yes.
understand. Yes, we've been through it. You're going to be okay. It's going to get better because you're going to have a support group. Because networking, you just need to know that there's somebody else going through it with you. Or
Yes.
and I love that new studio session that you have, new studio owner session. And there are more new studios than ever.
Oh,
There
absolutely.
and they don't know the way. And and here's the new thing about being a studio owner. Nobody ever wakes up and goes, I'm going to be a studio owner. No, that's what I want to be. You get through. It's a calling, like being a nun or a priest. You dance. You have to educate. It is a calling. So I
Yes.
feel like when you're in a room where everybody's understand, I understand you because I am that. I understand you. You're from
Exactly.
California. I'm from Connecticut. I'm from Jersey. I understand you. We got that. And that's a really beautiful feature that I think Dance Teacher Web's doing with these new studio owners. Great.
Well, and we've always been to make a community, because when we first started, we've told this story a million times, but we were just with a bunch of teachers. We were teaching them, and they just said, they were up, I forget, up in Canada somewhere, but it was like really out in the boondocks, and they were lovely, lovely people. But they said, we go to things every now and again, but we're far away, so it's really, really hard. And that's when we got the idea, and we thought we need to provide something that, will they can sort of tap into at any time of the year, any time of the night, any time of, you finish rehearsal and you've got class the next morning. What the heck are you going to do? It gives you you can go onto the website. So, and then we thought, well, that's great, but we'd like to meet everybody.
Yeah.
And that's how the conference actually started. And because it's a lot of people in our business do feel isolated, because it's the old thing of, oh, the next studio is going to take your people, but the reality is everybody has their own people.
Everybody, exactly. It is the competition isn't within in the old days when I opened. I would say that you were very aware of the competition, the studio down the street.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you're not competing against other studios for students. You are competing against activities. You are
Yes.
soccer. You are competing against cheerleading. Anything. That's what it is, and that's why what you said is the flavor that you have in your studio. You have to be unique. Anything I could say to a new studio owner is be yourself. What's your flavor? Because people will come, like you said, people will come for your flavor, for what you are. What
Yes.
flavor? And stick to that, because when you first opened, you had an idea and stay with that. I mean, of course you could develop it, adapt it, but stay with the flavor you are. Don't be that studio that you aren't in your heart.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that's what makes it diverse. That's what makes it different. And if they're just looking for hip hop, they're not going to want to come to our studio, because we do everything. And if they just want to do ballet, they probably don't want to come either, although we have a good ballet program. But every studio has its own flavor, and I think that's very good advice for new studio owners. Be yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself. Just stick with what you feel is the way for you, because it has to be genuine.
And we're a social group, studio owners. We are all about relationships. If you open up your mind to that, whether it's a relationship with another studio owner or with vendors or other teachers, or even in your own. I mean, people come to your studio because of the relationship you've made with them. Let's
Absolutely.
on that. Like, seriously, I'm not saying to be, go to your students' parents' barbecue or braid their hair at a sleepover. I'm saying that a relationship with a family or with a student, a practical relationship will go a long way. That kid will stay from 3 to 17 to with you if there is a true, pure relationship, honest with, but not crossing the line, but of
No.
course a caring relationship. But that's in our whole business. If you have a relationship with a vendor, if you have a relationship with a convention or a competition, or anybody in the studio world, an artist, a choreographer, that's going to take you a long way in your networking and being in this relationship family of dance, this wild,
Yes.
crazy we call.
Yes, exactly. And that's the whole community, that's the whole community thing, and making your customers feel like they're part of your community, and vice versa, and that's like you say, when the kids stay from 3 to 17 or 18, and those are the ones you want, because they will stick through everything, through thick and thin.
We have continuous big graduating classes. This year we have 12. Last year we had 12. And nine, I think nine's ever been my slowest. What the year my daughter graduated, 21 graduates. 21 graduates from three. Think about the math. Think about the impact. Math for the studio, the finances of the studio. Think of the impact that our teachers, our studio had on those kids. Think about those parents that want their kids to graduate from your studio because you care and make a big event of graduation more than they do in their regular high schools. So
Yeah.
that is not only a beautiful thing inside and out financially for the studio, for you, for your reputation, and the kids, the little kids see that. The little kids see that you make a big deal of the graduation, that somebody at the end of the show has been there for 14 years or whatever. I can't, that's too many, I guess. But that makes those kids say that's something special and stick to
Absolutely.
it, because kids don't have stick to itiveness anymore. We need stick to itiveness.
Well, we do, but that also has to come from the parents. I think people's brains are so scattered right now that the parents kind of want them to try everything, and that's fine to try things, but sooner or later you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Is it dance? Is it soccer? Is it this? Is it that? Because let's face it, you only really enjoy something if you spend time with it and you develop it over a period of years, and you get good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different levels of good too, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is not only, of course, does dance teach you how to dance and move and look graceful and have composure. And when you walk into, I always say to my dancers, when you walk into a room, everybody should know you're a dancer. You have to stand up straight, put your chest out, you know and it's funny because I'll see them down the corridor, and if they see I'm there, they all go, oh, oh, oh. And I'm like, don't do it for me, do it for you. You look great.
It's life lessons. And you know what? I think it's Music Works that has that t-shirt, dance lessons or life lessons. And that's
Yeah,
true. Beginning of time. It's really, everybody teaches their dance program. Plie is a plie at that studio. Plie is a plie at my studio. It's
right.
what we're giving, what kind of things, what's the extras that they don't even know they're learning.
No, exactly. Well, I always say I have the 3-year-olds, or I don't teach the 3-year-olds now. There comes a point when that getting up and down all the time kills you. So, I gave that away some years ago. But I always used to teach them to fold their scarves. We use scarves, little scarves, and I make them fold their scarves. And I taught my teachers to do that same thing. And I always say to the parents, look, not only are we teaching them dance, French, because the terminology is in French, but we're also helping you with your laundry. So,
You brought that up, scarves. Last week, costume week at our studio. So costume week, we don't do dress rehearsal on stage anymore. It's called a stage rehearsal, not in costume, and costume week. And then during costume week, I make the kids take their costume, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, the whole thing, just to practice. And then I watched this group, and they were like 8-year-olds, and they had to take their costume off and put it into their costume bag. And I watched them take off the costume and like crumble
yeah,
it, put it
yeah.
in. And I goes, whoa, hold on. Wait.
Wait.
I go, do you remember when you were 3, 4, 5, when we danced with the scarves and we had to stop and fold the scarves? This is what this is all about. Like, let's relate the scarf to the two shoulders in the costume and so forth and so on. So you're right. These practical things, even
I know.
as taking, and it's going to take a little while to teach them how to do the scarves, but they're going to use that later in life. You're so
Exactly. And it's things we don't really, that are just normal for us as dance teachers.
I'll give the kid credit. It wasn't a kid that was with me when she was younger, so she never did the scarves. That's why.
Well, there, you would give her pass then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
others were good, but I go, what's going on?
But that's why it's so important. And I mean, it becomes ingrained in them. I mean, we've had so many students, as I'm sure you have, who've gone out into the world, into different jobs, and they've, done, a lot of them have done very well in whatever job it is, lawyer, doctor, nurse, teacher. But when they come back, or they send you a note and they say, the training that I got there really helped me because it gave me confidence. I can stand up and give a presentation to somebody, at work, or just the general overall confidence and poise that dance gives, and for those that make it great, that's wonderful. And you're always happy to see that, if one of your students becomes somebody in the dance world, but that's not the overriding factor. It really isn't.
Absolutely right. One of the greatest compliments I ever got was a local business called me up and said that they had a student of mine, and they said, send me any students you want. Because when your Perna girls come in, I know that they're poised, can look a customer in the eye, can finish the task at hand. I mean, he was so complimentary. And those were all, it's not like I was sending them for these jobs, but those are
Yeah.
things I have to do in the studio, and it's relating to their life now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, in a way, it's up to us as studio owners to really educate the parents on these kind of things, because a lot of them just don't get it at all. The ones that have danced it themselves, they do, but a lot of them do not understand the value, of the whole sort of existence of learning how to dance. It's so much more than that. Well, if you had one sort of word of advice, something that a studio owner could actually put into practice to do differently, or whatever it might be, can you think of one thing that would be something they could put, would be actionable, actually?
An actionable thing. I think that, and it came with time, because initially when I opened my studio, I was always afraid of a parent's reaction. I would want to do something, and my initial thought is, well, how are the parents going to react? What are they going to say? Blah, 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 blah. And it took me some years of growth and confidence to say, I'm sticking to my policies. I believe in my policies. I'm putting them in place, and I turn to a parent and I say, please don't ask me for a special favor with whatever it is, because I want to treat all my students equally. I think that a young studio owner, or even a seasoned studio owner, has to remember that everything we've put into place is for a reason. We have to stick to our policies. We're a private business, unlike public schools where, everything is whatever, and everybody feels that, oh, I pay taxes and I could, have a say to this. I am a private business, and my studio won't be for everybody. But if I start letting policies and standards drop,
Yeah.
during COVID, I lowered my bar. I didn't lower my standards, but I lowered my bar. The kids, oh, I'm so happy they're coming back. They're coming back. Oh, good. They're okay. We're gonna be easy with them, because this is the first. The three-year-olds were 2 years ago, so like they're now about five-ish. I could see a difference with the COVID kids for
Yeah.
sure. They're a lot more needier. They don't have the social skills. They don't even have the skill set to put on their own shoes. It's not even Velcro anymore. It's got to be a slide-in shoe, or they
I
can't,
know. I
it's
know. It
full.
drives me nuts, I have
It
to
is
say.
what my lobby. I got those wooden, remember those wooden little feet that they're like flat things, and you tie it. I have those in my lobby now, and the kids get a little punch card if they have to do it 10 times, and I give them a little toggle for their thing. I'm teaching them how to tie their shoes. My teenagers, I'm teaching them how to read a clock, a real clock,
I
because
know.
they don't know. I thought a student assistant of mine, I was in acro teaching, I was on the other side of the room. I said, Cece, go look at the clock. Tell me how much time I have left. She went in front of the clock, 13-year-old, went in front of the clock, and it looked like she had a stroke. She was just staring at it. I go, how much time do I have left? She couldn't tell me the time.
No, it's very sad. I
It is,
make them do the same thing. I make them do the same thing,
yeah. So
you
I
know.
think that skill set, but you have to have your standards. And I
Yes.
lowered my standards, or not lower my, I lowered the bar. Now COVID's gone. I have to start expecting, have higher the expectations. I'm back coming back. I'm coming back
That's
with it.
good. That's great, Hedy, honestly, because, you've got to be true to yourself and you have to hold your standards, yes. And if parents don't understand, I've always found that, if we bring them in, we sit them down, we explain to them why this happens, then it all works. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to doing our joint session together at the conference. It's going to be being the best you can be. So I'm sure we'll both have some good ideas on that.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure to talk with you because I remember the first time we spoke, like you said, in a Dance Teacher Summit, and you are just so full of information and your delivery with your beautiful English accent.
Thank you.
And then, and then I come in Jersey girl.
We made a good team.
Yes,
And we still do.
we
Well,
do.
listen, thanks so much for, spending time with us today. And we really appreciate all you do for dancers and in the dance world with your dance friends. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the conference and having a great time. And so thank you, Hedy, for being on today.
Oh, thank you for taking the time. And I love this new venture. This is great. Congratulations to you and Steve. And I am looking forward to the conference. It is a blast. Even if I wasn't speaking, I'd be going because I just enjoyed so much.
Well, we love you and have a wonderful journey there. Get there safely. And thank you, everybody, for watching Step Up Your Studio. We've had a wonderful guest on, Hedy Perna. And Hedy, if they want to join you on Dance Friends, how do they do that?
They can reach out to me, and all I need is their email. So my email is dancelady22@aol.com. I'm the last person. I was the first person, and I think I'm the last person on AOL, but I'm not changing.
You stick with it. All right, Hedy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie. Bye, Steve. Bye, Angie.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Step Up Your Studio. Remember to subscribe, share with fellow dance professionals, and join our community dedicated to studio success. Until next time, keep stepping up.